1, 2, 3, 4. This in 1 week. Okay. Plus. Okay. Okay. Me when you go live. Good morning. Good morning. I got the cutest little message this morning in my oh my god, I didn't announce this on Instagram. Oh my god, people are gonna be so mad. Oh my god, do I go over there? Oh no, shoot. Oh gosh, I hope they are okay over there. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people of Earth. The Earth says hello. I did not announce it over there. All right, it is what it is at this point. I have my girlie standing by. She is the same success story that we did last Sunday. However, she has even more things to add into it. Hi, Hillary. It's nice to see you. She has even more things. She manifested 20K in an office bonus in 1 week using the affirmations. Another 6K in under 30 days. It will be recorded this time, yes. An SP, a specific person, in 3 days asking to get back together with her. And so many other things. So I am very excited about all this. Oh, so sorry, she's here. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Persis. How are you?
How are you, my love?
I am very well. I'm very well, and I hope that you are having a good weekend.
Oh, yes. The weekend has been good. It needs to be longer. I am so tired, but it's going good. It's going good.
Oh my God, yes. I do see that you've been doing a couple of lives, and like, oh my God, your schedule is so jam-packed. How do you find all that time to do all this work? Oh my God.
I don't know.
And hearing people and their problems and everything, it can be a tad bit draining, at least for me.
It can be.
So, yeah, and like, oh my God, yeah.
I am
Really
just,
heads off to you, man.
yeah, I am just doing my best. And listen, it's hard. I think for a while, unfortunately to other people's dismay, I may take a step back from lives for a little bit because I am just, beat. I am exhausted. And I think I just want to focus on myself for a little bit in my own manifestations. But I love to go live. If anything, I find it really hard to not work, because it's like one of those things when you love your job, you don't work a day in your life and you want to help people and you want to see them flourish. But at the same time, sometimes it's like you also have to let them do what they need to do to be successful. And I actually find, ironically enough, when I'm less active on live, they actually spend more time implementing than when I am on live. They don't spend time implementing. So if anything, I think I have to take a step back so that way they can absorb all these wonderful teachings and actually go into implementation. It's like, too much of a good thing sometimes. You need to give them some time to fly on their own.
I would totally agree with you on that, okay? Because there was a time when I used to work like zillions of hours, like putting in every day and night and everything, and I never got valued. In fact, the harder I worked, the more work I tend to get.
True.
And so, I decided that, I really wanted to kind of like take a break and just, be kind of like in a situation or a state where I felt more free.
Yeah.
I felt more relaxed. I felt that I had the time to meet my friends. I feel, so I started making affirmations on those as well. And, that really helped me to kind of like have more time to meet a friend and like enjoy a casual conversation, just a walk in the park,
Yeah.
So these were things that, I have slowly, done, and they were based on the template affirmations that you provided to me, but then I altered them to meet or customize, or basically just be in flow with what I believe, my beliefs, and like make it more real for me. And once I did that, honey, it just started picking up, and it's like just things just keep coming at you, and you just
True.
like, you just have to just be like,
I know what you mean.
This is just like, how long, honey? This is like 3 to 4 weeks. Yes, 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, sometimes I find that like when I overwork, actually people, I don't want to say they don't value it, but it's like if Persis is always there to save them, they need some time to fly on their own, because unfortunately, and I love my people, but it's like sometimes if I'm always there to kind of give them those things, I actually find that like it's difficult because they still ask the same answers or questions. My mistake. I come on to live like out of the kindness of my heart, and I'll answer like so many questions, but sometimes people are like, they still have the same questions. So for me, it kind of sometimes gets frustrating because I'm like, I don't know how many different ways to give the same answer. And it feels like they're not even benefiting from the free teaching. So that's the thing that's like, difficult sometimes as a coach, is like, even though I give everything for free, it doesn't even feel like they're benefiting from the free stuff because I'm too much in their space. So that's why I think that sometimes when you give people too much for free, they actually need time to absorb it and to implement it, because otherwise they come tomorrow and they have the same question. So then I feel bad, like, okay, maybe I've not explained well, or I've not done enough, or I've not explained enough, because how can they have the same question again when I just answered that question? But anyway, that's the thing that I was struggling with, I think. So I definitely think that I will, allow them time for implementation, because I actually go live every day out of the kindness of my heart to help people and to give them free coaching on an already free page that has the answers, so that I can help to make them a success story and see them win. But I have learned, I think, as a coach that loves to do so much for free, that sometimes people need a break to absorb it. And people need time to implement it. And actually, if I keep going live this frequently, I'm doing them more of a disservice than I am an actual service.
I actually totally agree with you, because if you realize that while you and I were having the coaching one-on-one sessions together, for the Kings and Queens package that we actually have, that when we were actually on it, right? You were in particular very worried that, hey, maybe I was not giving this girl the value for her money. She was not contacting me enough. She was not asking a lot of questions. But for me, it's like, I had a call with you. I understood the pattern. I understood the system. I understood what needed to be done. And then after that, I just soaked it in. And then I said, okay, I'm going to start from tomorrow. And then I started implementing it. And I said, like, I'm somebody who just preferred to work in silence on my manifestation and everything. But just as soon as things started picking up, what did I do? I reached out to you and said, hey, Persis, this is what's happening. Hey, this is happening. Oh, that's happening. But while I was working on those things, or working on my affirmations, on my steps, like, just because I didn't say anything, I did assure you in the second call, like, hey, I'm still doing the work. It's just that I'm not constantly bombarding you with a lot of questions, because if I did have any particular questions, I would have definitely reached out to you. For example, if you remember, I spoke to you and I told you I have difficulty with visualization.
Yeah.
And I really want to go into learning about, what do you call revision.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So I said, hey, can I have some affirmations into revision? And
you did so good with those. Can I interrupt you for a second? You did so good
sure.
with your revision affirmations. Oh my God, this girl has been manifesting like a total boss, like a total boss. I gave her revision affirmations for different areas of her life. She, like chef's kiss, just absorbed it into her brain, revising. So good for her, so good. But listen, I know that we'll probably go on with something like this, so let's actually go into all your success, because listen, you have a lot to share with these people. And let's get into it at
I don't know where
least.
to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't we start with the money maybe? Let's begin with the money, because I know people got money on their mind and they want to have a more prosperous 2023. And so, like, let's begin there. I know one of the manifestations you had was the 6K in under 30 days. And then you had another big bonus happen. So, and any other things you'd love to add, let's begin in the money. So that way we can help some individuals out that are trying to manifest money.
oh, sure. Okay. So the first thing was that basically I was saying affirmations about making money out of thin air, like money just, coming to me out of nowhere, But I didn't have any specific amount in mind, so my affirmation just went like, large sums of money just come to me so very easily, or something,
Yeah.
within those lines. And then basically what actually happened was that my neighbor's car apparently met with an accident. And once her car actually met with an accident, we went to the service center. So the car servicing center employee apparently told me, said, hey, your neighbor's car is so lucky. It survived, massive accident or massive crash. I should definitely go and buy a lottery with the license plate number and see, I'm pretty sure it will strike. And he told me to do the same. He's like, if you don't buy it, I can buy it for you, and then I can pass it to you. And I was like, no. And I'm generally not somebody who would actually dabble with lottery and stuff like that. But then at that moment, I don't know, something just told me I should.
Okay.
And so I went to a nearby, station, and then basically bought the license plate number, which is my neighbor's license plate number, car number. And then the next thing I know, it's like, it was a Wednesday. And then when at night the results came out, apparently her number came in first prize. And I actually just won myself $6,000 out of nowhere.
That is crazy.
And this just happened because I was affirming that I, managed to get large sums of money out of thin air, and that it's so super easy for me, and that I'm, just getting it somehow. Large sums of money are coming to me, and it did. It's like $6,000, just like that. And then obviously the $6,000, I was happy to get that, but then I was like, it's not enough. I was expecting a larger sum. And then I realized that the issue was that I was not being specific about an amount. All right. So what happened is, generally we have an annual company bonus, which is actually issued to all staff. And generally performance-based bonuses are only for the sales team. I'm not part of the sales team. I'm part of the back room. Okay. So my work, is not based on performance. So, but it does significantly impact the company's financial performance because, as part of the team which I belong to, we do incur kind of a lot of costs. And, so what happened is, just last week when I actually joined this company, I was informed that I would have like a fixed bonus.
Yeah.
of a particular amount. And so whether I performed 50% or 2000% or however many percent, I would still get just that fixed bonus. And that fixed bonus amount was not even equivalent to a person's 1 month salary in my country.
Yeah.
So I said, I this is not what I want. I aim and basically I declare that I am now getting this amount as my bonus now. And I said it with such conviction. And every single day I would just like 10, 20 times just say it that, I declare that I am now getting this amount of bonus in my bank account now. And the amount that I was actually declaring or intending to get was actually $20,000. And that is a huge amount. But then I'm like, if I'm going to dream, I'm going to dream big. There's no way that I'm going to go small on that. So just on Friday this week, apparently, I received a letter stating that I am scheduled to receive a bonus of $18,000 minus taxes. If I add up the taxes, the total amount is actually equivalent to $20,000 itself.
That is crazy. And there's a question that's come in right here that I think would be good that I'll ask you really quick before you expand. Did you believe in your money concept at the point, whether that be 6? Maybe the question is probably more suitable for the 6 because that was the time where, you hadn't really manifested a sum of that kind. I guess the question is more so, how did you or did you at all believe your money concept before it happened, or were you just putting it out there into the universe and declaring it and then just like maybe hoping or wishing or praying that it would come back? I guess people are wondering what was the intention behind it, or what was your belief level behind it in the very beginning?
There was no hoping for me. Hope is like a question mark, and I don't believe in question marks. I'm a person who is actually very logical, but at the same time, I have basically, if I don't believe in something, I'm not doing it. So it is very important for me to believe in my affirmations. So, and if I do not believe in them, that's okay. Then I'll just keep on saying them until I believe it,
Okay, perfect.
So what I did was, obviously, initially when I was saying those affirmations in front of the mirror and going, hey, lots of money just come to me right away, instantly. I am now easily manifesting large amounts of money into my life now. Obviously, initially when I said it, it seemed all like, what hogwash is this? But then when over time, you keep on saying that to yourself, standing in front of the mirror, looking yourself in the eye, you will slowly and steadily, I will tell you, just say it 10 times, looking yourself in the eye, and you know what? You will start believing it.
It's true. So many people don't believe me when I say that. But if it's not happening for you when you're trying to do it, it may also be because you're overthinking it. But hear what she said. If she didn't have the belief, she kept repeating it until she got the belief. When she got the belief, that's when her external movement happened. Now, I'll present an alternative for you from my background, my story. I actually didn't believe certain amounts of money would come to me, or believe that money could even come to me in my beginner days of being a student, in manifestation. But what I did was like she did. I just kept saying it. I kept saying it. I kept saying it. I kept building that familiarity with my subconscious mind. And regardless of me, I probably, even after the repetition, didn't fully believe it, although I was getting more confident in it for sure. But I guess I was just meant to be a pretty good manifester, or I have a pretty good self concept of my manifesting abilities, because even without necessarily believing certain things would happen, just because I am the queen of repetition, repetition, repetition in my head, it always ended up coming. And if anything, I was even more shocked when it came, because I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did it. I cannot believe this. And every time I still feel the same thing. So belief, remember, is so important, but you're not required to, but belief is actually what you're trying to build. Yes, go ahead, please.
The one thing that I would say is that obviously when you're first saying, an affirmation that you do not believe in, or your current assumptions are rebelling, what you would actually feel is a tightness, like a rebellion sort of in your gut, in your belly, so in that case, what you do, you just breathe, you deep breath, you take deep breaths, you relax yourself, you just totally calmly just relax yourself, and you know what, say the affirmation word by word, allowing every word, every single phrase to sink in to your psyche. And that would actually also help. And the other thing that I decided was, if actually manifestation is feeling, then basically any feeling would count. So in that case, I started singing and basically snapping while singing my affirmations. Like a mad person, you're just saying your affirmations, but you're saying it in such a joyful way that it doesn't feel like a chore. You do not feel tired after that. You do not feel, like you're drained after that. No, it's just ultimately after you say that, you just end up feeling so much more powerful. And the EFT technique, which you teach, Persis, that is also a fabulous way of sinking the affirmations into your psyche.
Love it.
So just keep on tapping, EFT tapping your affirmations into your head, into your subconscious mind, and trust me, they will go down. It's like they will go down into your body. You will feel them, literally every single word going into your subconscious mind, and it will start. Even on days when I didn't feel like affirming, I was still putting in the work, still saying the affirmations, still getting up on time, I am somebody who follows, for me at least, it is very important to follow a system.
Yeah, same for me. I need a schedule. Yeah, I need a schedule. Yes. I need a plan. I agree.
Exactly. So I say my affirmations morning, after I get up, night, before I go to bed, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And after I say it, I just snap my fingers. I'm saying it's done, done, it's done. And that's it. And then I'm moving on with my day. And I'm not even thinking about things. And then things are just happening.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because there's a couple more follow-up questions. One of them, before we move to the next topic, is how many days did you affirm that, I guess, before kind of forming more of a belief? Like, after how many days of, I guess you could say, just a religious routine, did you start to feel better? And then naturally, I'm aware of how many days it took you to actually get it. And I think that may be the other half of it. And then did you take any external action for the money? I think more than anything, you just took certain things that were happening in your life and you decided you wanted more out of them. But please go for it. Give us a little bit of information about that.
All right. Well, the first day I said affirmations instantly. Yeah. After I finished saying the affirmations on the first day, I started feeling very powerful and very good about myself already. Like, I was already at, feeling good. But I didn't let that kind of become into making me overconfident or thinking, oh, it's done, I don't need to do any more work or anything like that. No. I kept at it because I knew that, because there were times when maybe I was just too tired to say, hey, I'm just going to say my affirmations tomorrow or day after tomorrow. And I could actually see the difference, like on the days that I affirmed and on the days I did not affirm. I could literally see the difference. It was like a difference between black and white. It was that drastic a difference, which really got me to, stick to the habit of managing and without fail saying my affirmations. Now, I'm not saying that, if you feel drained or if you feel tired, it doesn't matter, just keep on saying it. Please do not do that. But in my case, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just felt, or basically I assumed, that on the days when I said my affirmations, everything went my way.
Yeah.
But on the days when I did not say my affirmations, things just went in the opposite direction, which is not the direction that I wanted to go.
I know what you mean. So how many days, if you don't want, if you want to share with us, because I think some people are just a little bit confused. How many days did it take you to get the 6K? And then how many days did it take you to get the 20K? I have here in my notes from last time, 6K was under 30 days and 20K was 1 week. But I want to make sure that they hear it from you if that is correct, if I wrote that down correctly.
That is correct. The 6K came in after 30 days.
Okay.
And the 20K, the news just came in on Friday last week, which is like 1 week later. Yes.
Do you see how much faster?
What happened.
Yeah, do you see how much faster you're manifesting also? Because before it took you 30 days, to get that sum of money. But once you get the belief, once you get the understanding of how this works, you collapse time so much easier. You literally collapse time so much easier. And all she did was saturate her mind with her affirmations and with her routine, and she ended up doing it. Now, the 6K just came from literally out of the blue for people that have come in a little bit later. She had played a random lottery just based off of a suggestion of a friend, that of which she never plays lottery. And she won 6K off of it as it came in first prize. The second part of money that she won after the lottery win was the 20K bonus in 1 week. That of what she set an intention from her work, that her work, the company that she's working for formerly, was only giving barely 1 month of bonus to all employees, no matter performance. So whether you performed at 2,000%, 10%, 50%, everybody was just getting this very small bonus. And she decided that's not what happens in my reality. I'm getting a $20,000 bonus, which is obviously multiples above and beyond what she was going to end up getting. And she stayed true in that, and she ended up getting 20K exactly on the dot. So I just love this. Do you have any more money success stories or any kind of advice for people maybe that are trying to do money, but they just haven't been capable of getting a hold of it?
All right. I think if you look at my experience, right, I think the 6K took 30 days was probably because I was not specific about the amount. I just said large sums of money come to me instantly and effortlessly, but I did not specify the amount.
Yeah.
This is why I think it probably took a longer period of time. However, once I had decided and I was confident that the amount that I wanted was, say, 20K, so it just came to me a lot more easier. So I think that if I would have been specific about the amount that I wanted, I'm pretty sure that it would have started coming sooner. Like before actually getting the 6K, I was getting random kind of amounts being tossed at me, but they were not that significant for me to kind of take in as a huge victory or, kind of an achievement, you see. Like, you have like your mother just passing you, hey, here's $100, just go, enjoy yourself. Or like, somebody treating you to lunch or whatever, so I never took those achievements into consideration because for me, a huge amount meant a huge amount.
Yeah.
But when you are very generic about your affirmations and you're not being very specific about the amount that you want, then the universe just tosses at you whatever.
Any random amount, random amount that seems realistic.
Yeah, and because you say huge, but then the universe goes, okay, I think $100 is a huge. Here you go, your mother's gonna give you $100. Yeah, so I realized that when I was more specific about the amount that I wanted to manifest, it came into my life much more easier and much more easily and effortlessly.
Yeah. So I love that. And one more thing, because I think we may have skipped that, is did you end up taking any action? I think that I mentioned that the only action it seemed that she took was the lottery, and a couple other things. But let me understand from you. Do you feel like, and obviously I know you can speak from your experience and we all have different experiences. Do you feel like one needs to take action, or is this mainly a mental game where you just got to get the belief and then naturally the action comes?
I don't actually think that I truly would tell you this, that actually there is no need for us to take any form of action.
I agree.
Whatever needs to happen automatically comes to you.
Yeah.
And if the universe does need for you to kind of take some action of sorts, then they will send you some kind of prompters or feelers, like for me was this random guy just telling me, hey, maybe you should buy a lottery.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure, just go for it. I'm like, there's always, and then like when the universe does send you signs like this, then at that time you need to be open to receiving those signs and signals. And how do you do that? Also by affirming that I am now open to receiving money from all directions.
Yeah.
I'm now open to receiving money from all sources, known and unknown to me. When you have this subconscious belief, or should I say a concept that you are open, then you'll be more receptive to these signs.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, to be quite frank with you, the only thing that, however you want to put it, God, the universe, your higher self, whatever it is, all it needs is for you to form the assumption. Because in law of assumption, I've said it almost too many times, and I'm sure it's burned in people's ears, is that once you form the assumption, everything else moves. Everything else moves. And that's all you need, is to just form the assumption. In the law of assumption, the name of the game is to form the assumptions. So, yeah, I love that. So tell me, let's go into a little bit of SP manifestation. But yeah, I would love to hear, I know that as you did my plan, which I know you got a lot out of this King and Queen package, where you were, I gave you a lot of different affirmations for a lot of different things, but I know some people are really interested to hear how, although you were working on money, although you were working on a variety of different things, how did the SP part come into play? Because I know last time a lot of people were so impressed by the fact that, your SP formerly was a self-proclaimed most stubborn man in the world type of situation. And in just 3 days, I have literally a quote on my little sticky note over here saying from you that he was like putty in your hands and begging to come back. And I know that you have even more updates from that just in 1 week's time frame since we did this. So yeah, let's jump over there because I'm super excited about to hear all that stuff.
All right. So with regards to the SP, what we did is we had the call during which I told you about my assumptions about him. And then, because I am the one that is actually living the experience. So I just wanted to know from you that, why it was so easy for me to manifest other things into my life. And then when it came down to SP, it seemed like there was nothing going on here,
Yeah.
and or sometimes he would react and then all of a sudden go back to square one, like, where was I going actually wrong? And then you basically said, okay, can you tell me some of the affirmations that you're saying in relation to SP? I said, yeah, this. And he said, okay, your affirmations sound okay, but then what is your overall opinion about SP? And I said, oh, he's a stubborn buffoon. He is so stubborn. He's the most egotistical man. So that, okay, this is where you're going wrong. Because you assume that he's stubborn, because you assume that he's egotistical, how about looking at him in a different way?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, okay. So you know that exercise where we basically put our assumptions about SP and then our assumptions of what SP thinks about us on the other side, and then we flip those beliefs and then we keep on repeating those,
Yeah.
and I was just doing that. And so one day I decided, hey, I'm going to test the universe a little bit, okay? So I just said, SP starts stammering whenever he sees me.
I remember this. Yeah.
And I went to the office, and he was talking to somebody who's really up there, like a big official in our company. And I was just standing there doing my, photocopy and stuff, and he just started stammering in front of that high-ranking official, and we're just like, oh no. I didn't expect this to work now, but yeah, he started stammering, and he continued stammering until I was out of sight.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit, So one thing I need to really tell everyone: when you do affirm something, it is gonna come, and it's gonna come to you in a way that you do not expect. And business continued every time he saw me, and I was just like, what the, what is going on here? And yeah, and I wanted him to focus, and he was not able to focus. Like every time he caught a sight of me, he started stammering.
That is crazy.
And this only happened, like, I affirmed only in the morning, and then I was at the office. I was not thinking about it. I did not even recall. And I was like, what's wrong with this guy? And I was like, oh boy, I remember my affirmation. He starts stammering every time he sees me.
That is nuts. And sometimes
how quickly it can work.
And it worked in like, oh my God, 3 days. 3 days is no time at all. And I think it's because you also set a playful intention, and you also were like, oh gosh, now I'm stammering. An ability for someone to just stutter or stammer in this situation is just such a fun way to like test the law and see how it works. But it goes to show, like, literally all you need, once again, is to just form an assumption, even in a playful manner. And she didn't win out. She didn't take any action. She was just living her life, and she was presented with an opportunity where he was there, and he literally just started to kind of stammer, however you put it. And she was literally shown, and just by making that assumption, because essentially what we're doing in law of assumption, in case it's not clear by now, is we are forming an assumption to align ourselves to the parallel reality where we have the self-concept and concept of desire that matches what it is that we are after. And when we do that, there's really no action that we have to take. So, like, as an example, I'll give you an example of bad action. Let's say somebody's doing a self-concept plan or a concept of desire plan, and they're trying to purposely, as they're doing that plan, go into the 3D, perhaps in a place of slight mental weakness, to see, has the 3D caught up yet? Rather than asking themselves, have I formed this assumption? Because technically, if I go out seeking for evidence, I should really just ask myself, have I made this belief yet? Because if not, out there isn't going to defy in here. But that's a story for another time. They may go and put themselves in the environment of their person's favorite coffee shop, or at this gym that they go to, or attend this party that they know they're going to be at. And they want to go and they want to see how much, this has loaded in the 3D. But in all reality, I personally feel like one should not always search for action, because the only mental work that we are doing is just forming that assumption. Let this situation come to you, because I promise you, when you hop into that parallel reality by the changing of your own assumptions, there's nothing that you have to do, because you've aligned yourself to the reality where that scenario will seek you out. You don't have to go and seek it out. What do you think?
I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. You know why? Because there was a time when I was like affirming that my SP was totally obsessed with me. And trust me, he was showing up everywhere to the extent that it really made it very difficult and very uncomfortable for me to really even be able to focus on my work. So for those of us like who are probably affirming that my SP is like totally obsessed with me, etc., etc., the obsession will come.
Yeah.
And it will come in a very swift manner. But then your self-concept, is it ready for that level? And that, that heightens, like obsession, that never-ending obsession, that obsession of having someone forever in your area, in your space, all the time. It can be very draining.
Yeah.
So maybe obsession is not something that's suitable for everyone. So I know initially, obviously, yes, of course, when it's new and it's fresh, oh my God, he's so obsessed with me. Oh my God, I'm loving it, But then 2-3 weeks down the road, you're just like, oh boy, just get off my back. Just get out of my sight. You do not want that. So I didn't, in that case, I had to modify and alter my affirmations, because my affirmation that he's totally obsessed with me, he's attracted to me like a moth to flame.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that had him like literally in my space 24/7.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, no. He turned up at every meeting that I attended. He turned up at every party that I went to. He turned up in my lunch area. He turned up in the pantry when I was even taking the water. Everywhere. And I was like, this has to stop, because it's totally draining me.
Yeah.
And then I just started affirming that he's just attracted to my light.
Yeah, I love it. I really love it.
To my light. He's attracted to my loving energy.
Yeah.
It makes him feel very much at home. And that was a much more lighter and a more, I think, positive way of, I guess, obtaining him, kind of thing. And then, like me just saying that I feel like home to him.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Home in my presence. When I started saying things like this, he started magically like being so very comfortable around me. And even being open to talking to me about his work-related problems, or like asking me for help openly, which he's never done before. So just all these things started happening, and we have a corporate event being held tomorrow. And all of a sudden, he's reaching out to me like, "Hi, would you be able to pop by maybe an hour earlier and like just help me with this event?" Like, to be honest, I know the person who's part of the organizing committee for tomorrow's event. And that person could have easily reached out to me, but that person said, "No, I've got everything at hand. It's okay. Thank you very much."
Yeah.
But, this guy, for him to specifically drill down to me, like, it shows that his trust in me has increased. Or should I say, the assumption that he trusts me with his life is probably working.
Yeah.
Yes. So, so all these things, the affirmations do bring about tremendous change in your SP. But then when you have your self-concept up high, you will not purposely go and seek it out.
Yeah, true.
This situations and circumstances will happen where, you just come to the realization that, he has to comply to it, because your SP is reacting to your assumptions about him or her.
Yeah.
And they're conforming to that. And so when you change your affirmation, your concept about yourself, and then you change your concept about your SP, and then you change your concept about the relationship, or the dynamic that exists between the both of you, then the universe would actually change. And I am really into tarot card readings, etc., etc. So the funny way, okay, like when you are, when there was a time when I used to constantly think, "Oh, he's so scared to approach me," that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all the tarot card readings were always saying, "Hey, your specific person is so very afraid to reach out to you." And now, just 4 weeks in, you know what the tarot card readings are all saying, apparently?
What?
He's running back to you. He's desperate to see you. He's obsessed with your energy. And this is just, happening. And tarot card decks, basically, they are merely a reflection of your energy.
And your subconscious,
and your assumptions, yes, towards that particular situation being reflected on an instrument, which is the tarot card decks, showing your energy towards this whole situation. And then the moment I change my assumption about it, oh my God, the readings start flipping over. And when I changed my self-concept, it was not just my specific person, but basically men started opening doors for me, offering to carry my bag for me.
Ooh, okay.
And not that it was super heavy, but then it's really nice for them to help me carry it. It's like, oh yeah, sure, do it, So simple things, people just, and to be honest, I am of a minority race in this country where I currently reside. And so men of other races do not actually consider women of my race, when it comes to attractiveness, or basically wanting to approach and all that stuff. But I have men of other races competing for my attention. They are literally wanting to sit next to me and just talk to me all the time. I'm just taking a taxi ride, and the taxi driver would say, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. I've never seen a woman as beautiful as you."
Oh my gosh.
Things have not always been that way. I've never been addressed or serenaded in this way before. And now I literally have all these people going crazy over me. I went to the bus stop the other day, and there was this guy smiling away. And I thought he's smiling at something that's behind me. And then I turned around, there's nobody else. It's me. So he's basically just smiling at me. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And listen, I know we have several things to get to, so maybe we can list some of them now and then go into your friend's story. But I want to bring up a couple of things. One thing that I want to bring up is you mentioned this in the last live, is you ended up actually affecting plants and animals just by using affirmations that we had formulated together based on your goals, as well as a healing of your friend in 15 minutes rather than 1 hour with your Reiki background. I just want you to give a couple of lines, if you would, on that, because I want them to hear that validation for new people, and to also inspire the ones that have already seen this, that just give a little bit of background of, we made affirmations, this was my goal, and this is what happened. Because I know that they want to hear a little bit about that.
Sure. It's just that I've always believed that plants love being around me, and I have healing hands, and plants respond beautifully to my touch, to the sound of my voice, and they just love, they blossom under my care. This is the kind of belief that I've always had. And so basically at the clinic that I visit for my chiropractic sessions, apparently that plant was like, having some brown leaves, and I started really caring for it. And I was like, oh, I know you love me. So if you love me, can you please blossom? And it started growing really nicely. And then what happened was I couldn't visit the clinic for like 3 weeks. And then I got a calling to basically go and visit the clinic all of a sudden one day. And when I went there, oh my God, the other stocks had just passed on, that there was just one little stock left. And and I was just like, oh my God. And I said, you know what, this plant would die without me. I said, I'm the only one that this plant loves and responds to. I said, and I didn't think twice. I just told the clinic, hey, I'm taking this with me right now. Hey, you know what? They were like, all right, go ahead, no problem. You take care of this, And like normally, like this is hospital property. I can't just take things, right? But then they're like, no, we're good. You take it with you. And I literally spend my time talking to it, healing it by using words, touching it occasionally, like, hey, don't you love me? Just grow a little more. And oh my God, it started responding and started blossoming and flourishing. I even sent you the pictures, right, honey?
Yeah, you did.
Do you want to share it with them?
I'll show them the pictures, yeah. But yeah, guys, to give you an example, she had literally gone from, I'll show you 1 second, this photo of the plant where it only had one stalk, and then this over here where it was completely blossomed and bloomed in 100 different directions. And she made certain declarations, and she's like, if you love me, will you bloom? And will you do this? And she's just so cute, so sweet. And this goes to show, like, you guys think that people are off limits. A plant literally listened to her and flourished in front of her eyes. And that is just awe-inspiring. She did the same exact thing, and I just showed them the photo, by the way. She did the same exact thing even with how animals respond to her, and got some temperamental, I think kitty cats, that was not wanting to be near her, to come and enjoy her presence and approach her and allow her to pet the kitten, pet the cat. And it's just like crazy that if you think people are off limits, this affects everything and everyone. And although it's like, I never really had a client that was interested to do something like that. So I was like, okay, let's do a new challenge. Let's affect plants now. Let's affect animals now. And that's literally what happened. And I'm just glowing for her.
The cats were actually they were dumped into the dumpsters. So, they were a bit traumatized. So they didn't want to be held. And they were particularly wary of women with long hair. And I have long hair. So, they would just be like, do not come near me, do not touch me, that kind of thing. And I was like, why? I just want to hug you. I just, and the like scratches and like biting me and stuff like that. And, I was like, I said, oh, okay. And you know what I said? I just affirmed that, I am now radiating with loving, healing energy. And, all animals around me can sense it, and, they reciprocate in kind. They show their love to me as well. They understand the loving and healing energy that I'm coming from.
I love it.
Oh my God. For the first time, the cat just stroked my leg, stroked itself against my legs, and I was like, oh my God, and I was like literally falling over there, because I was like, it took so many, months of me trying to get her, nothing worked, and then affirming just for 3 days, and yes, I have the cat in my bag.
I love that. So. Well, listen, let's move on into our next topic, because my family members are prompting me over here, but I think we could do our last topic in like 15-20 minutes. I think we'd be good with doing that.
Sure, no problem.
Let me do that. So this is another success story, but with a little bit of a disclaimer that we felt would be helpful to explain to individuals. Which is her friend's manifestation of a marriage with a specific person, and how her friend, which is a childhood friend of hers, had actually always been in a scenario where she was like, I'm going to marry this person, and this person is going to be my husband, I'm going to marry this person. And actually, just off that solid belief, she actually ended up facilitating that. Now, there's a little bit of a disclaimer with this story that we actually were wanting to bring to everybody's attention, because there's a way to get a success story, but there's also a way to get a success story where you're happy. And, in this marriage that she very successfully facilitated, and now even like she, as her friend, can see that she manifested this, she also realizes that, unfortunately, this woman really lost her self-concept over time. And now she's actually quite miserable, because all she ever does is just pour into the person, but doesn't actually assume like happiness for the marriage, or that he will change, or that his behavior will improve. So she's technically still in the marriage, and the marriage part of the manifestation is perfect. But I want to say this as a disclaimer to people that may just be so gung-ho on their person, that there's a difference between manifesting a marriage or manifesting a ring on your finger, and there's a difference between actually being happy and fulfilled, and to actually feel a high sense of self-worth. So if anything, it is a success story, and I don't want anybody to get discouraged, but it's also a good learning lesson, because as you know, sometimes too often in this community, and it's nothing bad, but it's just something that happens, we place too much focus on the other person. And I know that I've said this so many times, and it feels probably so redundant at this person that, oh God, Persis is going to go through another, story again about us trying to have a greater perspective. But I hope you see it as a form of care, that if I didn't care about you and your happiness, I wouldn't take the time to make these disclaimers, because some people, they're just too focused on the end prize, but they're not enough focused on themselves. And I'm just trying to prevent people from being in unhappy situations is all. So I'd love for you to give a little background and disclaimer. That way people can have a little bit of, understanding of what do you see as her friend that she could have done differently in manifesting this person, consciously or unconsciously. Let's go there.
All right, okay. First, to start off with, My friend was always very cheerful, very hubbly-bubbly. She was always very confident, and she was always very, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to become a teacher, I'm going to study psychology, and stuff like that. She was really into trying new things, and especially entrepreneurship was something that she was really highly inclined towards, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But then she met this guy who then basically, they start dating and everything. And like, she was like, as her friend, you want to see her happy.
Yeah.
So she just goes, oh, I'm dating this guy, yada, yada, yada. And then we're dating officially, etc., etc. And so I didn't think to ask her much, okay? So because we were in high school, and then at that tender age, everything seems like, you're looking at everything in rose-colored glasses, right?
True.
But over time, as I grew up, and she grew up as well, I went to university, started my job and everything, and I realized that her focus was still this guy. And rather than focusing on her life and where she wants to go and what she wants to do, her entire world revolved around this guy. And that made me really unhappy, because it's like there were so many things that I was doing. I was traveling, I was working, I was making the right moves, meeting the right people, etc., etc. And she was still fixated on that guy, and they were still like dating, and sometimes he would call her, sometimes he would not call her, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so much in love with him, oh, I'm gonna marry him. And I was like, girl, maybe you want to slow it down, maybe get to know him better, maybe understand what he's all about, or maybe do something in life, maybe kiss a few frogs before you decide on that. And by that I do not mean that. No, I'm not trying to say that you can't have your SP. Of
Dad,
course,
have you kissed any
every
frogs?
right to have your SP.
Have you kissed any frogs?
But all I'm trying to say is that if
I love her.
you can have your SP, you can have the happily married life that you want with your SP. It doesn't have to be with anyone else, but supplemented with assumptions about your self-concept and the way that he treats you.
So true. Sorry, go ahead.
So because her end goal was basically just the marriage, so all the while all of us were, me and a couple of friends, and all of us were basically just drilling into her head, listen, this guy, he is, he's abusive and everything, like he was, like, she would just go to a hair salon and he would have an issue with the male salon, the stylist being a male, doing her hair, and she'd go, oh, how romantic, he's so possessive about me. But I was just like, girl, that is seriously very toxic, because it's like, for him to assume that every guy that is around you wants to be with you, I'm sorry, I know, but I would be honored if if somebody did think that way. But then it's like, and it's not, I'm not trying to say that she's not good looking or anything. No, nothing of that sort. I'm just saying that she's pretty average looking, and so for him to assume that every guy that's around her wants to be with her in that way, it's just like something's wrong with that guy's mind,
Yeah.
So I was just, there's something that's very wrong. And in fact, she used to look at it as, she used to be delusional about it. She used to look at it as, he's being so romantic towards me. And I was just like, something's wrong with this guy. And, and all of us were like trying to drill into her, and she used to always say, I will only marry this guy and no other men.
Yeah.
And you know what, actually, to be honest, she did get married to him.
Yeah.
And you know what? After she married him, he made her life hell.
Yeah. And let me interject for 2 seconds, because I know some people already kind of have questions down there. What she is trying to say is, at the end of the day, this woman is her childhood friend, that it's not like, she is in any scenario where she can't have people that she wants to. She can have anybody that she wants, but she just wanted this particular person. And at the end of the day, this is who she wanted, and this is who it was. Before, she had a beautiful, bubbly personality, was capable of, having wonderful relations with everybody. And then after all that, this person came in, was hyper possessive, exhibited some not so good characteristics, wouldn't even feel comfortable with her going to the hair salon, especially if they were male dressers there. And she, as a friend, was trying to say, these are red flags. These are not good things that are happening right now, because if he's not even capable of having a male, or she's not even capable of having a male hairdresser, I don't think it's as romantic as you think it is, because that's just a little bit weird. A man shouldn't be that way. But she saw things with rose-colored glasses, and that's what allowed her to miss all these, I guess you could say, red flags and the controlling aspect of things. From there, she continued to persist and say, you know what, this is who I'm going to marry. This is what it's going to be. She married that person. But now her life has become a living morgue, as terrible as it is to say. Not only that, but he became physically abusive as well. So it goes to show, and what she's trying to get at is, if she would have put all that effort into herself, she would have blossomed like a flower. But instead, she was just so gung-ho on the end destination, and I want this regardless of how I feel about myself. She didn't focus, important things here that she mentioned, didn't focus on the integrity of the relationship, how he treated her, how he acted with her, or how he respected her. And those are important things to a happy, healthy, thriving relationship or marriage, either or. And sometimes, because people are just so locked in on that final destination, and they want it come hell or high water, as terrible as it is to say, you miss a lot of hindsight. And all she's trying to mention is that self-concept will never go away. It will never be something that you can evade, because even when you have the person, if you continue to doubt yourself, if you continue to feel poorly about yourself, if you continue to seek validation from others, or if you continue to not do the important parts of defining how this person is and how they treat me and how they love me, and, seeing these, flags that are not so great, you are not going to be capable of being happy. And at the end of the day, I plead with you guys, above and beyond, happiness is the goal, irrespective of the person. Not saying you can't have the person, but then make sure you're manifesting a full 360 experience, because sometimes just getting something, but being in an unhappy marriage, think of it this way. How about this? Let's put it in a realistic terms. How many people are married and unhappy? People act like, just getting married will solve all the problems. But just getting married doesn't solve your insecurities, nor does it heal your past unfavorable assumptions, regardless of if those assumptions are about you or them. It does not heal that. And some people, I feel like, need that disclaimer. They need that disclaimer. The prize is not always the prize, because you are the prize. And if you don't keep yourself in check and continue to validate self and pour into you, remember, that's what made her magnetic to this man. She used to have such a bubbly, happy personality. Now, not so much. And it's so sad that she lost parts of herself just in the ability to accomplish what she viewed as an idealistic life with this person, thinking that at the end of the day, once I get married, everything will be fine. But it wasn't fine, and it actually deteriorated quite poorly. So sorry, I took over there, but I think some people really sincerely got confused in the comments. I think I pretty much summed up your own story, and I didn't mean to do that. But like, yeah.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so basically what happened is that once they got married, he started getting more and more abusive towards her.
Yeah.
And, because she hadn't changed the way, her assumptions about how he should treat her, and so he just became
our appointment
all
is
the more,
45, right?
toxic towards her.
It's 22.
And then basically she lost all her confidence, and she started getting insecure. And
okay,
because
so
of
we'll
her
leave in 5.
insecurities,
Okay, fine.
she started behaving like jealous about everything that I was achieving in life. But I was like, girl, I put in the work,
Yeah.
and that was something. And because of her insecurities and everything, she started losing friends.
Yeah.
And the most she started losing friends. And then the most recent, development that we received was that because I had broken off my friendship with her like 8 months ago, like I just stopped talking to her. And then one day I just received a call like, hey, do you know that she's hospitalized? And she is apparently on,
life support.
Life support. And and then basically it's the husband that's apparently responsible for her current state of condition. And we're all just like, what?
Yeah, it really took a very, very bad turn. Very, very bad turn for the worst. And I want to say my family members are actually quite literally giving me a 5-minute because I have to go out. But one thing I will say is like, that's pretty much this story is, guys, is to give you a disclaimer that sometimes the end goal really has to be taken into extreme accountability for, because she could have actually had a happy, healthy, thriving marriage had she just remembered the other parts of this, that it's not just him. Her happiness, how he treats, and her perception of him and everything around it also matters tremendously. Tremendously. What would you say about that?
I would just say that, when you're imagining the end goal about being in a loving, committed relationship with your SP, supplement it together with affirmations on how you want him to treat you and how your own self-concept towards yourself, how he treats you, and ultimately how your relationship would be. Do it to that. And trust me when I say this, I can vouch for it, that if you do say affirmations, your self-concept affirmations, and supplement them with how you want your SP to treat you, they will respond to those affirmations.
Absolutely.
Have no doubt. It will happen. But if you're just going to go end result, I am now married to my SP. Yes, you'll marry them, but then does that change their behavior towards you?
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. And one last thing we can give before we close off here, but I'm glad we got everything done in like an hour and 10, hour and 12, is what would you say? And this, honestly, what she said right now, even if anybody wants to tag this time in the description box down below when this gets repurposed on YouTube, please do it, is she basically gave you the solution to how to still get a specific person to be that way and stay that way is remembering both sides of Persis's manifestation equation. It's not that you can't do it or that you won't do it or that it's not possible, but remember, this work can't just stop because you got what you wanted and then you let it all that hard work go in the dumpster. That's not what this is all about. It's about a lifestyle of being in a situation where you hold yourself accountable. Remember that you're God of your reality and that you're still creating both sides of the equation even after you get it. And sometimes where people may lose a person, specific or new, is once that person's in front of them, they take all their knowledge on law of assumption and they just plop it off to the side and they say, now you're going to validate me. I'm going to take everything you do or don't do, say or don't say, behave or act or don't behave or act, respect or don't respect personally. And then I'm going to wonder why the relationship deteriorates in front of my eyes. That's not the way that we do this. That's not the way we even got this. So my last question for you is this. People really appreciated your, I guess you could say, review. And I'd love for you to review me as a coach and as your program was, and say, what would you give advice to people who maybe want to or are on the fence about it or are worried? What is it like to actually have coaching with me? Give a little review about this program, to other people.
So they can benefit.
All right.
So they can benefit.
First of all, I do follow Persis videos, and I had a look at all her videos, and I practiced whatever she taught in her free videos. You can take a learning lesson and everything from her free videos and manage to transform your life as well. But in my case, because I am somebody who basically likes to have a clearer understanding or better understanding. In my case, I was already into the law of assumptions and I was already doing affirmations. But because I felt I was stuck at a particular point and it was not moving forward anymore, which was at that point of time, I decided that, I needed a third perspective, and having looked at Persis videos, I felt like it was a blessing in disguise. So I went in for it, and I signed up for the Kings and Queens packages, and while waiting for my appointment to come to its day, I did not waste my time, just not doing any work. No, I did not. I hugged on her free videos to get an understanding of, all the methodology and started applying those as well. It's not just about you just watching the video and that's it. No, you have to learn how to apply it as well. And you need to trial and error, see what works for you. Yeah. See how things go for you. But because in my case, like I mentioned, I was stuck at a point and it was not going any further, especially with my SP, right? So I reached out to Persis and I took up the course. And when it comes down to the course, I knew at that point of time when trust me, I didn't care about the fees at that point of time because I already had the assumption that any amount of money that I give returns to me in 1,000-fold. Yeah. So that was already a belief that I held. So, I just took it as, an initiation fee, initiation course to becoming a master manifestor. So, I looked at it in a very positive way, and I'm glad I did because this is the reason why I ended up with all these things. So if you find yourself stuck at a point where you need a third perspective, and I wanted the third perspective not to be from just any random Tom, Dick, and Harry. I wanted it to be from somebody that I could trust and who was experienced in handling things like this. And the way that Persis explains this and the way that she cares for all her subscribers, this is indeed very remarkable. I could really feel her care and concern in the way that she speaks, okay? So, which is the reason why I reached out to her. And I would tell you this, that this third perspective, like my own internal dialogues or beliefs about my SP being a stubborn buffoon, being, like an egotistical whatever, these are not things that would automatically or readily come to my mind had Persis not highlighted them to me.
Yeah.
The reason why she was able to is because not just because she's a good trainer, but also because she's viewing the relationship from a third perspective. So it became a lot easier to get an understanding of what alterations should I do. And once I made the required adjustments to my self-concepts and beliefs and the affirmations and everything just started moving forward. And I was explaining to Persis that it was moving forward at such a pace. I'm like, things are just coming to me and I'm just receiving them. And I'm just being open to receiving it, you know? And
sometimes you need a third perspective.
You can definitely learn a lot from the free videos. Definitely, yes. But then you must also put them to practice. And if you do put them into practice and you realize, hey, something's not working out, don't be shy to take on a trainer. Don't be shy to asking for help or seeking help, be it from Persis or basically anyone. In my case, it was just Persis that I chose to work with because I really felt that
comfortability, maybe.
She could get me out of the pit that I was stuck in.
Okay.
And nobody was able to explain it to me in such detail, understanding the way that Persis was, which is the reason again why I went for her.
Yeah.
Yes. So just do that, I would just say.
And I would say also, as she brought up good points. There's everything, and I pride myself so deeply, which is why sometimes, when people that are new to my page, I guess they assume I'm going to be like another law of attraction or law of assumption coach that requires you to buy something to get the full answer. My answer, and they make an assumption on me, which is irritating, but I'm actually priding myself on being a person that has actually given you guys all the tools to not need me. But yet I'm still so very booked because people need that added touch. If you find that days, weeks, or months are passing and even these free teachings can't get you there, it's probably going to be in your best interest to seek professional help. And this is why I feel that way, is because, and I've said this many times, everybody has a coach in life. LeBron James has his own trainer. He has his own coach. Venus Williams has her own coach. Serena Williams has her own coach. Michael Jordan had his own coach. We all need and we all tend to get coaches at certain point in our life. And what is technically a coach? You're paying them to get corrected. You're paying them to improve your form. You're paying them to help you master your emotions or master your craft or master whatever it is that you're after to try to be the best in so that you can win that championship, so that you can win that tournament, so that you can get your manifestation. But it's likely that at the end of the day, you may just need that personal added touch, because I describe personal coaching as this. It's like taking an exam. You can study for the exam on your own, i.e. using my free teachings, and get it and never even speak to me. Or if it's not working, essentially it's like getting an ability to get the answer key given to you and say, this is the answers. This is what you need to do here, here, and here. Flip this answer to this answer and do this over here. And then you get more of, I guess you can say, an expedited path. So I think that's the true perk and benefit of coaching. And she was a king and queen package. Usually king and queen packages, the perks of them is you get to skip the line. However, at her point in time, I allow kings and queens to skip the line and have priority booking. But at that point in time, I was already so overbooked that I didn't even have a priority skip for her. So she did have to wait a little bit to speak to me. But if you feel like it's worth it and you're tired of waiting to get what you want, it's there for you. And if you don't feel like you need that extra help because you're already good on your own, then it's not going to resonate with you. And either or, it's beautiful either way. You know what I mean? It's just like some people need the answer key because they're tired. They've been doing this for a year, multiple years, 6 months, and they're like, You know what I mean? Like, I just want what I want and I want it now. And I'm ready and I'm coming into this with the mindset to get it.
And I would just say this one thing, to be honest, I mean, given how much, was kind of like invested into to subscribe to the package and everything, I would just say one thing, because I was not texting Persis like on like a daily basis, or like, I understood her concern, because she was like, I understand, I hope you're doing well. You're free to text me, right? At any point in time. This is a facility that you're subscribed to. Please use it. I do want you to use it, because otherwise it's a sheer waste that you've signed up for this course. So I was really touched by that message of hers, because it's like,
I had a lot of respect for your money, you know what I mean? And I wanted to make sure that you got the most out of your package, but she was just one of those independent birds that had the knowledge, but just needed the guidance and just needed the affirmations and just needed the routine and just needed a little bit of outside perspective.
So so on the second call that I had with Persis, I did assure her that, hey, listen, even though I'm not texting you, please rest assured, I'm following through with the instructions that you have given. And if I do get stuck anywhere, I will totally get back to you. And then that's where I came up to her and I said, hey, I'm having some issues with revision. If you could give me some affirmations in relation
do we have
to
to
that.
Go now?
And Persis,
Okay.
if you would like, then I can just
Let's go.
have a call next week to explain the certain events that I've revised so far. So let me know, and otherwise it's totally fine. But just let me know if you need me to get on the call in relation to that as well.
All right, my love. Well, I do definitely have to leave right now, but I love this story. I know everybody's going to enjoy it tremendously, and I appreciate your time, and I know they do too. If we ever want to do another one again, when, you advance yourself to get another $100,000, you have my number, and you know where to find me, to do that story.
Sure.
But I do have to leave now. Unfortunately, my family members are coming at me, but we will speak very soon. I know we will.
For sure. I'll come back with more success then. All right. See you then.
See you soon. You too. Bye-bye. Okay, let's leave. Time to move. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot do anything.
I know you're very popular.
I am popular, man. God. It's so difficult to be this famous, It's a difficult thing. Like how Drake and Josh says, I love you. No, I know you hear me. I know you hear me. I said that purposely for comedic effect. For anybody who knows Drake and Josh, you know that there was an episode where the little blonde girl was like, "Don't touch me, I'm famous." And it was always funny. Me and my brother still do that running joke. Like, Citrus, where's my bodyguard? Citrus. All right, Citrus, let's go. Has the car been started? Chop, chop. Come on, let's move. You're making us all late. I can't believe you. Being famous, it's just such a pain.
Putting a shirt or something outside.
Oh, is it? Okay, so I'll put something over this. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. And I hope you've enjoyed my comedic timing. And yes, we will speak very soon.